Hello everyone and welcome back to Matt Talks Money, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything to do with money, personal finance and life. For you guys who don't know, I'm your host Matt and welcome to the next episode in the series The Money Questions, where I talk to my friends and family about money. In today's episode, we are joined by my girlfriend Emily. Hello, thanks for coming on.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. So for anyone who doesn't know you, most of the people watching probably do know you. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Emily. I'm Matt's girlfriend. I am a third year medical student at the University of Bristol, and I met Matt back in college. Was it first year? I think. Yeah.
Was it
back
4
when he was
years?
17. It's mad.
17. So you've known me for
Baby.
5 different ages.
Yeah.
Time flies. So when we first met, I think both of us had very different mindsets on money, as in to what we have now. I mean,
yeah, I agree with that.
I think if I say for both of us, we both were not very money savvy or money wise. You know what I mean? Compared to what we maybe now. What do you reckon your, not upbringing, but like history of education of money has been like? Do you know?
Yeah, kind of non-existent. Like, I don't know, you don't get it taught in schools, and then unless you have a parent, I guess, like properly teaching you about it, then it's almost a bit taboo. Like, people don't really tend to talk about it. I definitely don't really talk about it with my friends. So yeah, I think that's something that needs to change. But yeah, I don't know, like you said, we both like had jobs, and I always look back and I'm like, oh, I could have done something with that money, I could have saved it, and I just like spent it all. But yeah, so I didn't really know a lot.
Well, on the back of that, it's a bit of a hint to the next series. After this series, there's 2 more podcasts in this series, and then after that, me and a friendly face, let's just leave it at that, we'll be coming back to do a series called What I Don't Teach You in School About Money. So
nice,
maybe
exciting.
It's I think it's something that should have been taught in school, but also I listened to another podcast earlier today, and they said if everyone became rich, the world would crumble, which is true, because if everyone was not as rich as Elon Musk, but if everyone was quite wealthy, who would do the lower paying jobs? No one would, because they'd be too rich and the society would crumble. Anyway, what does money in general mean to you? Interesting question.
Oh, I hate questions like this. See, I'm always that person, and I would say this to Matt as well. I'm like, oh, I hate money, like, oh, it's the source of all evil. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm very much like, oh, it can, be quite bad sometimes and cause a lot of problems. But like, equally, obviously, I know that with it comes a lot of, opportunity and like freedom, to do more. And so I guess like I understand it's important, but I'm always wary of like, don't let it kind of consume you and like overtake your life, I guess, because obviously there's more to life than just money. But yeah, it's an interesting question.
One word, the first word that comes to your head when I say money. Don't say me. That doesn't work. I know I like talking about money, but
it always is. Oh, that's hard.
I'll have a think. I'll come back to you at the end. But
okay.
I think it's interesting, for us, obviously, in a relationship and just in general in like other friendships, that when we first got to know each other, you didn't like me talking about money type thing. And now I think there was a point a few weeks ago where you were talking about money and I told you to shut up about money because you were talking about it, too much.
Yeah, you've rubbed off on me.
a little bit. Obviously, doing medicine, everyone knows the NHS aren't world renowned for their good salaries to begin with. But there is, potential to earn a lot of money. Do you have a potential salary, or I don't want a specific number, but potential like end goal that you'd be happy with, content with?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's hard to like put that to a number.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of depends on what your life looks like, I guess. Like, I'd like to, you know, not have to worry about money, or like, you know, not have any debts or things like that. I could, yeah, I like to be stable. And I guess, like, yeah, I think I probably have quite a high standard of living. I don't know, like, is that a bad thing to say?
I think it's, it's how we were brought up in the area we were brought up in. Then
yeah,
it's
like
natural from where we are from.
Yeah, we were probably like quite fortunate. So I guess that's kind of like your standard. So you want to have that, you know, or like even achieve more in the future. But yeah.
I think if I was to sum up for you what you'd like to be, I guess, would be that you would like to be able to shop at M&S all the time.
That makes me sound so posh. No, because I shop everywhere, and Aldi and Lidl have great things as well.
True, but to be able to go into an M&S and
everywhere.
But to be able to go in an M&S and think, I don't have to worry about what I'm spending, would be nice.
To be able to like treat yourself and like, you know, enjoy things. I mean, I like food, so I spend a lot of money on food.
Yeah, that leads us greatly onto the next question of what's your one guilty monetary pleasure. I think I know the answer, but for everyone who doesn't know.
I'm intrigued what your answer is. Do you know what though? At the minute, I think it's actually it's gonna have to be coffees. Like I have become addicted, and there's a lot of like independent coffee places in Bristol. So yeah, I've definitely got more into that, and also because I think you just think, oh, it's like £3 or something, but you don't realize how much it adds up. So yeah, probably that. Why? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say takeaways, or like shopping when you're like when you've had like a bad day and then you spend 70 quid on like online shopping.
Do you know what? I go through spells. Like I'll go months without buying anything, and then there'll be like one night and I'll just buy loads.
See, I have a technique to combat that. You probably know about this. I have a set amount every month in a separate current account that I have to spend every month, because innately, you know, us as humans like to spend money. It's a bit boring if we just say it all the time. So if I know I'm going to spend that money every month, my urge to spend on random stuff is satisfied. So I never spend more than that's in there.
I know.
And actually, going back to your, you said about £3 adding up every time you get a coffee.
Yeah.
I just thinking back now to whenever I was in, you know, secondary and secondary school, every day, because I didn't really do packed lunches. I hated sandwiches. Still, I don't really like sandwiches. And I'd be like, Mum, can I have £3 for like lunch? And you don't realize how much that adds up, because I got lunch at St. Crispin's every single day.
Oh my gosh.
I know. You don't realize how much that adds up. And also I got money for break as well, you know, like the break before lunch. So probably be like a £5 for a day. That's 25 quid a week.
Yeah, that's a lot. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I was naive back then, let's put it that way. Imagine if I took that money and like saved it or something.
Well, yeah, exactly. I still think that now.
I mean, we weren't, you know, if you were money savvy at that age, then fair play to you.
Yeah, true.
So about that, you know, if you didn't spend any money, it'd be quite a boring existence. If you had to choose, what do you enjoy doing more? Do you enjoy spending money or making the money? What would you choose?
Oh, I want both. No. Not gonna lie, probably spending. Like that's probably not the right answer for this kind of podcast.
No? No wrong answer.
Yeah, no. To be fair though, it's quite satisfying because you're like, oh, that's money. Okay, maybe not now, but when you have a job, you're like, that's money I have earned, and like it's getting me, you know, something nice. Like I've worked for this. Like you're treating yourself, and it's quite nice to actually think, okay, yeah, I can afford this takeaway. I've worked for it, like, and not feel guilty about that.
See, I sometimes see people who go like, you know, see on social media like, oh, I went to, you know, when clubbing was a thing. It was like, back in the day, it was like, oh, I don't look at my bank account. I probably spent so much money last night. And I've never had that, because I always know that, when I go out, I know I'm probably going to spend about 20-30 pounds, unless I'm really, really intoxicated and I get a bit merry with the credit
Feeling
card.
generous.
Yeah, but so I'm never the next day, I'm never really worried, because I've already budgeted it for it, and I've probably gone the 2 days before, I won't buy any takeaways, for example, so I can spend that money on going out. But I think for me, the thrill of making money is more than the thrill of spending money on certain things.
Oh, anyway. Definitely. Yeah, no, you love seeing the numbers go up.
Yeah. So obviously you like spending money more than making money.
Mm-hmm.
Leads nicely on to the question of if you when you got a job and you had some like serious money coming in, because we all know as students we don't have a lot of money coming in spare.
Yeah.
Would you spend money to pay someone to invest that money for you, or would you try and do it yourself? So DIY or pay someone to do it for you?
Well, I'd need a lot of training if I was going to do it myself. To be fair though, I even now recently, we've got into investing a little bit. Well, okay, you more than me. I dabble a little bit with free trade, and it's funny. I kind of, I think I'm quite good at choosing the stocks that I buy, and you know what? Because I know that I've done it myself, it's I can't even be angry if one's going down or whatever. But yeah, I don't know about paying someone else. I mean, depends, because obviously you can't really guarantee it's going to go up. But. True,
but people think, like you said, you need a lot of experience, but you really obviously, if you're going to be sat day trading and trading it constantly, then obviously you do. But if you're under the strategy of buy and then hold for 5 to 10 years, most things in general will go up, unless they are dying things. If you invested in Blockbuster 10 years ago, it's now officially dead. I don't even know if Blockbuster you could buy shares in, but things that are going to die. But companies like Apple and Google and stuff, they're not going to die. And I very rarely invest for the short term.
Yeah.
I haven't sold any of my trades on free trade yet, because I think in general they're going to go up over time. So I mean, again, it depends how much you're going to pay this person to do it for you, but you could just dump all of your investing money into a fund or something like that that's very low risk, and I'm probably sure you'll get similar returns to paying someone £200 an hour to do it.
Yeah, true. Especially if you don't need that money anyway. You don't need it. You're just happy for it to just sit there and see what happens.
Yeah, I think actually, give you a little bit of praise. We won't talk about your National Express down 40%.
Here we go.
But actually, along that line, so if anyone doesn't know, me and Emily both bought a bit from National Express. I think it was last year? Actually, it was in the dip of Corona. March, April. Because we thought, it'd bounce back up again. And it has. It's now positive. But for the whole of 2020, it was down, and it was down to 49%, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And I was very tempted to say, I said this to you, I said, potentially it's a dying company, buses.
Yeah.
I think I said to you, sell it and invest it in something like Tesla. And you said, no, I'm going to keep it for the long term, because you actually weren't very emotional with it, which is a good thing. And
no, I was more stubborn. Just wanted to prove a point to you, but yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah.
I think if you're over emotional in this kind of stuff, then you have the potential to get really hurt, or on a whim. I personally have a little bit of cryptocurrency, and obviously seeing it going up and up and up, and you're tempted to put more in, but you're like,
yeah.
I think it's a balance, because I think crypto eventually will become the overall currency, and I think the currency we currently have is going to in the podcast I was listening to earlier, they said Great British pounds, what we pay in, will cease to exist in paper, and then will now become a cryptocurrency of its own. There will be a GBP coin, just like there is Bitcoin. So that's what we'd use to go and spend on bread rather than paying in Bitcoin. I don't think we're ever going to have to pay in Bitcoin. I don't think it's stable enough. Just imagine at the moment, at the moment, you could buy a Ferrari today and then a loaf of bread tomorrow with the amount of Bitcoin because it's so fluctuating.
Oh my god, yeah.
Do you reckon on the idea of that? Do you reckon when we're our grandparents' ages, what will the money front be like? Will coins cease to exist? Will cash? Will credit cards even?
That's a good point actually, because I suppose you just use Apple Pay. You don't even need your card really.
No, I think wallets are a thing of the past.
Yeah, because also you've just got Face ID. You don't need to worry about a PIN or something. It's actually quite bad. I use contactless and Apple Pay, and I'm like, oh, what's my PIN?
Yeah,
you just forget. I haven't used it in so long.
Yeah, I hardly ever take my wallet out. I just have my phone, which just has my ID in the back. I wonder if that's got to become on virtual as well. Your ID.
Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't happened already. To be fair,
I think that's more of a safety thing, isn't it? But it'll be interesting to see what happens when we're 70, 80.
I know. Yeah.
Very interesting.
It is.
So, obviously, in the last few years, would you say you've become more money aware? Probably.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, also, I think, partly you educating me, but also just going to uni and having to manage your own money, and you have to set up your student account and your loan and your overdraft, and you might get a student credit card
and bills
and just managing your money, and you're responsible for it, which could be the first time for some people. So yeah, it's a mixture of everything. But yeah, definitely more aware now.
Is there anything you'd want to get more aware of? I don't know. Would you want to get into Forex trading? I ask this quite a lot. It's quite an interesting one. Do you have an urge to become a day trader? Do you have an urge to, I don't know, buy and sell properties like Daniel last week said he wanted to do?
Yeah, no, that'd be good. I mean, yeah, Forex is probably a bit too advanced for me. I still need educating on the basics. Yeah, no, I'm still kind of, getting into mortgages, boring things.
Yeah, no, the basics are the essentials,
lifetime ISAs, things like that. Yeah, I need to get a credit card as well.
Yeah, I was going to mention credit cards. I think you were the prime example of thinking they're evil. I'm going to get charged a lot of interest.
Exactly.
They're scary.
Well, this is the thing. I have there's people in my family who put everything on the credit card, and then other people who are oh, why would you do that? And I was always oh, why do people use credit cards? Why would you need to? But without realizing, the benefits that come with that. And, as long as you're sensible with it, then it's,
yeah,
smart move.
Yeah, similar to you, in my family, there's been people who use a credit card wisely, and then some that don't. And you can see, one gets rewards out of it, one doesn't, and goes the very opposite. And the interest is a great thing if you're earning it in the bank, but it's terrible if you're the power of compound interest is great if you're saving, but it's bad if you're accumulating debt.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll get you onto a credit card. So my favorite question, I'm going to ask this to everyone because it's great. What would you do with £1 million?
Wow.
The answer can be as weird and wacky as you want. You don't have to be I'm going to save 99% of it.
No, see, yeah, I'd probably be a bit get too excited, like an excitable puppy, and just do something crazy. I'd be whoa, have £1 million, let's go on holiday.
Go on. No, is that the most exciting? Where would you go on holiday?
No, as in okay, fine, go traveling, go around the whole world. But
Can I
see, yeah, no, not allowed. Gonna go alone. No, but see, also I'm I get saving, but then also I'm I want to live life. And obviously part of money allows you to do that. Like I was saying earlier, it gives you the opportunity, traveling, it does cost. And, it can give you the opportunity to do something that you maybe didn't think you were going to do before. So I'd probably do something cool like that. And that would only take a small percentage of it anyway. Let's be real.
Yeah, out of £1 million. Would you buy anything extravagant? I know you want a car. Would you buy a nice car? What car would you buy?
I just want a golf.
Yeah, golf. Or like a 20,
I wouldn't even get
golf.
a fancy car. I don't know anything. I don't know enough about cars to get a really fancy
I'm
one.
not really a car guy.
Yeah, I think it depends what you're into. Like, I'm just not into cars or I don't know, other collectibles like that. But
yeah.
I tell you what I do. I'd buy some land and build my own house. I really want to do that.
Yeah, that's smart.
That'd be fun.
I'm guessing.
Smart? I don't know. I wouldn't make any money from it.
Countryside.
Oh yeah, I need a lot of land.
Yeah. No, I would definitely build my own house. That's a cool thing. But I'd also build another. I use some of the rest of the money to build another house and then rent that out.
Oh, clever. Yeah.
See, I was interested. I wonder whether you're going to say save 90, save a bit of it. And as much as savings is important, I think savings themselves are quite useless. As in, it's just money sat there, isn't it? It's good, but once you have over a certain amount, it might as well be doing something. You might as well put it into starting.
Well, also, like, what are you saving for? I think if you're going to be, there's no point just being like, oh, savings. Like, what are you saving for? I mean, obviously, you've got to have that like emergency fund in case something happens. But then, yeah, like you said, once you get to a point, like, it's like, well, is that just going to sit there and then go as inheritance? Like, use it.
I think it's scary though to think, back in November when I started this drop shipping, and I had to put a bit of initial investment in. It was scary because I was like, I've never invested in myself. It actually feels quite good, and also one of the best things is that if I didn't do it, I wouldn't have any incentive to make it work. But now because I put cash up front, not cash, it's online now, isn't it? I now have, a monetary incentive to get my initial investment back, which makes me probably work harder at it.
That is true. Yeah. Interesting.
Well, that's what you do with £1 billion. I think it's a very interesting question because everyone has very different answers to it.
But also, like, you probably would do something different. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where, like, okay, hypothetically, is that the right word?
Yeah, hypothetically.
Yeah. You do this, but then if it actually happened,
it'd be a very different story.
Like,
you'd also probably go,
because
there'd be so many zeros in the bank account. You'd be like, what? I've never seen this many zeros before.
But also, it's scary how quickly you can spend money. Like, even at the beginning of the term, I'm like, okay, student loan come in, I've got loads of money, yeah, that's fine. And then it just depletes and depletes. It's quite sad.
Yeah. See, money it's not the be all and end all, but society runs off money. If you didn't have any, you wouldn't be able to live in modern society. You could probably live in the woods somewhere, but not in the modern day society.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you.
I actually need to give you some thanks because you were the one that actually prompted me to start this whole Matt Talks Money brand. So thank you. Off the back of that, you have created your own little brand, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Go on, do some promo.
Oh no. It's Medic Parry. I always say it wrong. Isn't that great? At Medic Parry.
Talking about anything and everything to do with medits and all that kind of jazz on
how to get
TikTok,
into med school,
Instagram, and eventually YouTube.
We'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, go check her out on all those platforms. Thank you for coming on. Thank you. It's been fun. Yeah. Next week, I'll be joined by one of my old uni mates. That should be fun. That'll be the 5th episode, and then after that, actually, will be the final one, and then we'll be moving on to the next series, which I hinted at, which was what they don't teach you in school. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that'll be really good. Yeah. So thank you for everyone for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.